The real judgments were given to the nation of Israel, man. So it shows you who the real judges are. Alright? But he covered our faces up. Meaning that's his deception. That's where you get the image of the so-called blonde-haired, blue-eyed white man who is called Cesare Borgia. Alright? Because he was an actual man that lived no more than about 600 years ago, during the 1400s basically. Yeah? Alright? So that's how the so-called white man deceived the whole world. That's the image that's inside the minds of two-thirds of our people. They believe that they ain't shit and the white man's over them. Alright? But that's not correct judgment, because they're meant to be over everyone else. Got the scripture. And it says, the book of Psalms 147 verse 19. He showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. He hath not dealt so with any nation. Exactly. So the judgments were given to the nation of Israel, man. Alright? Not no other nation. The Lord, the Most High, didn't do so with no other nation. So we know that real judgment was given to us. So we're the judges, and our faces have been covered up by the wicked man, who's ruling over the whole world and deceiving the whole world with his wine, with his philosophies, man. So now we've got to learn what the correct wine is, man. The real wine, alright? That's gonna make us sober-minded again, man. What is real judgment? Real judgment is the commandments, like I done said, to decipher good from evil. Our people don't know that. This is the book of Micah, chapter 3, verse 1. And I said, hear, I pray you, O heads of Jacob, and ye princes of the house of Israel. Is it not for you to know judgment? You know? Because that's for us. We're meant to know judgment. And that's not speaking to all people. You know? That's not speaking to all people. Let's jump down the same chapter. Verse 9. Hear this, I pray you, ye heads of the house of Jacob, and princes of the house of Israel, that abhor judgment and pervert all equity. Because we're drunk, you know, 2/3 of our people. They build up Zion with blood, and Jerusalem with iniquity. The heads thereof judge for reward, and the priests thereof teach for hire, and the prophets thereof divine for money. That's speaking about your our religious leaders. Because what you understand is that if you know anything about Margaret Sanger, she was the co-founder of Planned Parenthood, the abortion organization. Now, what one of the quotes, the main quote she said, is that that they want to hire 3 or 4 colored ministers inside churches, man, to influence the so-called Negro population, man. And that the best way to get to the so-called Negro was through a religious appeal. And that she didn't want word to get out that they want to exterminate the Negro population, man. Alright? That's what she said. That's what Margaret Sanger said, the co-founder of Planned Parenthood. That they want to hire 3 or 4 colored ministers. Alright? That's why you got all these ministers inside church. They've all been hired by the elites, man. The so-called white man, the devil. To deceive and to keep the majority of you so-called Negroes dumb and docile. But that's only gonna happen to the 2/3 of our people. That's not gonna happen to the elite. Alright? Because like I said, from the beginning were good things created for them, man. Talking about this truth. Predestination. Now they're teaching for hire. Because they're doing it for money, man. They've got a 501c3 charter with the government. Meaning as long as they as long as they push forward the policies of the government, all right, as long as they comply with it, then they're not going to get taxed. Right? Their business is not going to get taxed. All right. So as long as they're pushing forward like homosexuality, homosexual marriages, so forth and so on, then that means the government's not going to charge them for it. All right. And that's the main reason why our people go to church, man. Because they don't want no one telling them nothing, no one reproving them nothing, man. Telling them to get right. That's why they go to church. Because the second pastor pork chop or deacon donut tries to tell them, oh, you women, keep your clothes on. The man's over you. They know homosexuals meant to be put to death. Lesbians meant to be put to death. Imagine if they started doing that. You know how many people would they lose? They lose the job quick and they lose money. Because our people are teaching for hire, man. That's what our prophets are doing, man. All you motherfuckers, man. All you 14th Street Israelites, man. You understand? You're teaching for hire, man. You know? Because our people want to get found in the good graces of the so-called white man, man. So they're ready to pervert judgment just to get into the good graces, just to be favored by the so-called white man, man. The heads thereof judge for reward, and the priests thereof teach for hire, and the prophets thereof divine for money. Yet will they lean upon the Lord, and say, is not the Lord among us? None evil can come upon us. Exactly, prosperity. The prosperity doctrine. That's another wine. That's deceived 2/3 of our people. That's made them error in judgment. Money, man. Money is the source of evil, man. Tells you that in 1 Timothy's, man. You know, many men have been destroyed because of money, man. Because of the want of money, because of greed, man. And our people are ready to pervert judgment just for some FRNs, Federal Reserve notes. And that's basically a gift, man. The scriptures say a gift destroyeth the heart. You understand? Let me get something, man. So the book and the scriptures say, the book of Exodus, chapter 21, verse 23. And if any mischief follow, then thou shalt give life for life, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot, burning for burning, wound for wound, stripe for stripe. So let me read that verse again. And if any mischief follow, then thou shalt give life for life. Who brought mischief? The so-called white man. Because only right, he brought mischief, man, by destroying our people, man. So therefore the correct judgment is life for life, man, tooth for tooth. We got the same shit is gonna happen to him, man. He's gonna have to be enslaved and suffer the same oppression and tribulation that he put upon us, man. We're trying to teach you the true wine, man, true judgment, man. Because that's what wine does. It perverts your judgment, it messes you up. So now we gotta pour this proper judgment back into you, man. Deuteronomy chapter 19, verse 19. Then shall ye do unto him as he had thought to have done unto his brother. Because that's what the so-called white man says, we're all brothers. If we're all brothers, then what you did to us, what you thought to have done unto us, we got to do that unto you then, right? You understand? Even though we're not brothers, man. Okay? As he had thought to have done unto his brother, so shalt thou put the evil away from among you. And those that shall remain shall hear and fear, and shall henceforth commit no more any such evil among you. And thine eye shall not pity, but life shall go for life, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot. You understand? book of Colossians chapter 3 verse 25. But he that doeth wrong shall receive for the wrong which he hath done. And there is no respect of persons. Alright? There's no respect to a person's in judgment, you know. Oh, he looks innocent. He looks like he couldn't have done no harm. You know? That's respect to a person's. Whether it's small or great, man, rich or poor. You meant to show forth correct judgment, man. Meaning no emotions. Because women, they're emotional, you know. You're not meant to have women in authority. That's another doctrine of the so-called white men. Can have women in authority. That creates confusion. Like I said, that's what wine does, man. Confuse you. Enter into a state of confusion, so to speak. Where was that? So lucky. I was just trying to.
Over that.
Yeah, so it says 2 Thessalonians chapter 1 verse 6. Seeing it is a righteous thing with the Most High to recompense tribulation to them that trouble you. So that's another attribute of righteousness. It's a righteous thing to recompense tribulation that brought that upon us, man. So if you're trying to preach otherwise, that's because you're reprobate. You're void of any type of judgment, man. You're lacking of law and order, man. You understand? Because to be righteous really is to be a man, man, because that's what makes a man. True judgment, man. Understanding of judgment, understanding of order, and wisdom and knowledge, man. That's what makes a man. So you have to gird your souls up. Gird your loins up. Like what the Most High told Job, you know? What David told his son Solomon on his deathbed, man. Right? Show yourself a man. So, book of Deuteronomy, chapter 1, verse 17. Ye shall not respect persons in judgment, but ye shall hear the small as well as the great. Ye shall not be afraid of the face of man, for the judgment is the Most High's. You know? For the judgment is the Most High. So you're just executing the judgments of the Most High. You're not doing it, you're not following after the reproving after your own eyesight, man. What you think is correct. You're doing what the Most High says is correct. Alright? Hearing both the small and the great. You understand? And pleading their cause, man. So this is how you really become a king, man. You know? Because a king's meant to know correct judgment. The so-called white man, he's a king, but he's wicked, man. He doesn't consider the cause of the poor alright? Or he doesn't plead the cause of the fatherless or the widow. The widow is the nation of Israel. Because our husband done left us, man. That's what a widow is.